we mentioned the Thunderbolts before.
Mm.
And so let's talk about this. Thunderbolts director breaks silence on the movie's box office struggles, responds to Olga Kurylenko's comments. I didn't know she had comments. What were her comments? Did you know her comments?
No, I had no idea.
Let's find out what they were. Thunderbolts director Jake Schreier has broken his silence on the movie's struggles at the box office in response to complaints about Olga's shocked departure as Taskmaster. Spoilers, too late. Thunderbolts opened in theaters to overwhelmingly positive reviews, but struggled to make an impact at the box office. The movie ended its run with less than 400 million worldwide, a disappointing result for the new Avengers. The movie's lead characters weren't well known to anyone who hasn't been paying attention to the shows. Plus, despite an inventive marketing campaign, the Thunderbolts didn't have much in the way of name recognition. Thunderbolts is now available on digital and 4K and Blu-ray. Talking Variety, Jake Schreier was asked to reflect on the movie's box office performance. He said, "For me, it's so strange trying to grasp how people watch these things. It was really fun to go around to audience screenings. You can't even take for granted that you are going to get a theatrical release. So to be part of that movie that goes out there, it really is about the theatrical experience. People can share it and talk about it and say what they want, whether they liked it or they didn't, and they have that. And then they have that continue. Sure. It's nice to be part of a movie that gets to have that life. Clearly not eager to be drawn into conversation about box office receipts. Either way, it hasn't made much difference to the director as he's already signed up to take on X-Men. In a recent interview, Olga Kurylenko addressed learning her major role in Thunderbolts had been reduced to a glorified cameo after returning to work following 2023 strikes. Responding to Black Widow star's comments, Schreier said, "Yeah, I think Olga has spoken about that. It was something that happened after the strike. When we were redeveloping the script, I know there are people that have reached out to let me know that they were displeased with this. I understand it. It's not something we took lightly. Obviously, I think Olga is a wonderful actress. It's a hard thing to do. It's just showing that for these characters, this is the thing that's done, and they feel that all of their lives don't have a ton of value. While many fans have demanded justice for Taskmaster, equally as many who have seen unbothered by the shocking demise. The female Taskmaster wasn't exactly a hit in 2021. And yeah, okay, great. All right, so let's start with that first. I didn't have a problem with that, and I understand that for Olga, she's
dying.
No, I understand for her why she would be upset about it's a job, and here's everybody else who's benefiting and moving on to the Avengers and doing. Of course, she's going to be pissed off. That sucks for her. So I'm not going to say that, why is she complaining? I get it. I understand why she's complaining. I just don't have a problem with it. And plus the fact that what they said in the article, I don't think that she was enough of a character. If you were going to take anyone out of those characters,
out of the characters, that's the one you do it. I think for me, the only issue I had, it did two things. I both on the one hand was like, man, that set a tone. Like It very much set a tone. Like I remember that about Game of Thrones because like I was watching that first episode. I feel like I watched the pilot of Game of Thrones like 2 or 3 times and I couldn't get through it. I'd fall asleep. And you get to the very end of the first episode, spoiler alert for a show that's been out for over a decade at this point. Right. When Bran climbs up, sees Cersei and banging her bro, and then he throws Bran out the window. I was like, what is this show? You kind of had the same thing with how Taskmaster was dealt with very quickly. I think the only thing that I would have preferred is maybe loser in Act 2, not within the first 20 minutes. You know what I mean?
Know. I like the balls of it. I like the balls of it where it's just like they said, it shows you they're expendable, and it shows you, and it also shows you who from seeing who does it and why it happens. It's like, oh man, it's all like Squid Game at this point. It's like, so I liked it. Like I said, it's one of the reasons I liked the movie because it's like you just didn't know where it was going to go, and you're like, whoa, they're going there. Who else can go?
Yeah.
And it went dark. So I didn't mind it, but I also, like I said, I do not have an issue with her speaking out about it. It sucks. Especially when they're so involved in the upcoming movies. Now,
when you're an action star,
right? I'm gonna act. I will say that I also like the way that Jake Schreier addressed the box office. What did he care? He still got a gig from it. He still got. It's like this is not one of those things where you're like, well, smartly. It's not, oh, his movie didn't perform. We hired him too quick. They're because you look at what happened with look at the example, the difference between like, say this and the Flash. Flash did not go over well with the fans, right? People who saw Thunderbolts loved it. It was just people weren't giving it a chance in the theater. That's not a matter of like they weren't seeing because it's heard it stinks. They just didn't care about it and didn't know what was going on with these characters and wasn't invested. People who saw it, well, it was a well-made movie. So you don't really have any buyer's remorse of hiring him for X-Men. I think for X-Men he's perfect for especially what he just did with these bunch of misfits. What's he going to do with the mutant misfits?
Absolutely. I think that there is a very particular skill set to be able to work with an ensemble cast,
right,
and to make them all feel pretty equal. And again, I think that that's why with Matt Shankman, that's why we had Natasha's character for Ben, so that everybody felt like they got a thing. But that was something that I think Jake did exceptionally well with Thunderbolts, is everybody had something they were dealing with, and it all got enough equal attention. Obviously, Yelena was the star, so she had the most focus, but everybody got an opportunity to try and exercise those demons and figure out who they are.
Sure.
And that balance takes work. I mean, it's why the first Avengers hit, because, you know, Joss Whedon, however you feel about him one way or the other, like he did it with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He comes in here with the first Avengers. He found a way for everybody to be relevant and to give them a moment. So I think if Jake can do this, I think the real question is how many people you're going to put on that initial X-Men team. You put too many, that's when you kind of run into trouble. You need to give like a kind of a core group and then build out over time. You know?
Do you put Wolverine in it to start? I mean, do you?
I don't think so.
Because even though if you don't, you're going to get people, Wolverine's not even in this. I'm not going to see this. You're going to get that for sure. But unless they find him towards like the end of the movie.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think you need him right away. I think you could do it any number, because think about First Class. First Class didn't have Wolverine except for a cameo, and people love that movie. So I think the better thing to do, either you can put it in a post credit, you can make a comment that he's off doing something. I think give the other X-Men some time to shine here, especially when you saw how X-Men 97 really worked. And yeah, Logan was around, but he was not the focus for the whole show. And it was actually refreshing for a lot of people. Like seeing Cyclops actually do something in X-Men 97, people were like, yeah, put some respect on my boy's name. I think this first one, come back to Logan. I think he is very important. I think you have to have him for the long run, but give the other X-Men a chance.
Well, that's the whole thing. You've got to give them a shot to show why they were so popular in the first place and show why people responded to them without letting Logan take the spotlight again. It's like, show us why they're so great even without them. So by the time you use them, you're already benefiting. People are so invested in general. Now, the question is, are they going to do what they did with Fantastic Four and just throw you into the universe again where they're already established? Or are we going to see a new origin with these new X-Men? It's going to be interesting to see.
It will be, especially because I am curious. We've obviously talked about mutants in the 616 at this point. I am curious to see if this is, look, man, the mutants have just been under the radar. If you know, whatever is kind of going to bring this out to light, that all of a sudden it's like a whole thing. I'm very curious, because again, it was smart to do it with the Fantastic Four. You put them on a different Earth, you can explain why they haven't been around. You know what I mean?
It is. You know what I hope, though? I really hope that, I know this has been a comic book thing, and maybe they just can't do this, and it's the sacred timeline, whatever. Fantastic Four made me hopeful that if they are going to do a reboot, like for people who don't know, if you're watching this show, clearly you do. 616 is the world that we've been following since whatever 2008 or whatever it might be. Fantastic Four is the first movie that features on a different world. Let's feature on a different world in general. Whatever happens at the events, let's get away from the 616. Let's just completely wipe it away. We did all that. It exists somewhere else. Let's start somewhere new. So then you don't have to watch all the shows and watch everything. If you're jumping back into it for this first time, let these X-Men exist somewhere else. And whether or not the Fantastic Four or anybody else gets involved, that's the planet that they're on.
I mean, there was a talk. I don't know if we're doing the story, but there was something about Feige during the press tour. I saw some. I didn't read the article. I just saw the headline about them essentially doing that reboot when Secret Wars was over, and the new casting for both Iron Man and Captain America. So, like, if there's truth to that, then it sounds like we may be. And part of Secret Wars and the way that works anyway, because it's whoever's in charge, whether it be the Beyonder or God Emperor Doom, smashing everything together so they can make Battle World. The point is then when it's all done, you go back, but like the last Secret Wars, the Ultimate Universe was gone forever. That's where Miles Morales existed, and now he became a part of the main continuity, and you kind of had to start over. So I think that you could that's part of why I think they're going the Secret Wars route in the first place, is so you can go, yep, Robert Downey Jr. is done, Chris Evans is done. Let's start over. Let's really figure out what we're doing going forward. You know,
it's true, and it's like we had it. It's great. Like you can't. The multiverse has to stop. It's like it's just too damn confusing for everybody, and it's one of the reasons that I think the multiverse really hurt Marvel because there's just too much, and it's like, well, wait, and there's no stakes. Like they've got to make sure to show you moving forward that every version of somebody is dead if someone dies. You've got to show me that moving forward. Like, oh, okay, the stakes are real. Like this isn't just there's another version of that person. It's like, no, this is legit. You got to make sure that you're resetting. You're going to reboot. You do it that way. So I know it's sacrilege to say you don't want to be on the you don't want to be on the major the one that we're on. Our world is like, no, I'm okay with it. I'm all right with trying a new world.
I'm also okay with a story being done. I'm okay if the 616 universe's story is complete and now we're looking at another universe. You know what I mean? Like that's okay to me.
Yeah, right. That's why I want to set the X-Men somewhere else, because we had our X-Men. Our X-Men. Well, I think maybe not, because I think that those X-Men are on a different. This is where it all gets.
No, I understand that, yeah. And if genuinely, if you want to do, I mean, you like the Spider-Verse films, right?
Yeah, I do.
So the idea, for example, that like Gwen, she really is one of the people that's zipping through the different. You could have a couple people that are like, these are the people from the different universe or whatever. They're the ones that are traversing it. Everybody else, we just focused on this. You know what I mean? And you don't need to do anything other than that, and just leave it at that. I think that will work.
Fingers crossed. So, what do you guys make of all this? The X-Men talk, everything that we were just discussing here, from how they're going to make this work. Put your thoughts in there. Let us know. It can happen. We just crossed, I think we're almost at 12,000, or we are at 12,000 on the Clips channel. So make sure you check that out. Oh, man, I'm so glad to finally talk to you guys about Cash App. I've been using Cash App forever, and now I get to talk to you guys about it. Don't worry. It's very easy, fast to sign up. Do you even know how much interest your money is earning you in your bank account right now? Well, let me tell you some stuff. Cash App can do way more than you think to make your money work for you. If you direct deposit at least $300 in paychecks each month and use the Cash App card for purchases, you can earn up to 4% annual interest on your savings. There's no hidden fees, no minimum balance requirements. Also, you can hit your saving goals even faster by turning on the Roundups feature on your Cash App card with Roundups. Every purchase you make using the card is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and that spare change is automatically put into your savings. Don't let your money sit around and gather dust. Make it work for you. Take advantage of high interest savings on Cash App today. For a limited time only, new Cash App customers can use our exclusive code and earn some additional cash. For real, just download the Cash App, use our exclusive referral code Christian in your profile, send $5 to a friend. Within 14 days, you're going to get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. Cash App is a financial service platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partner. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC, direct deposit, roundups, overdraft coverage, and discounts provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosure.